Hi guys, today we're talking to landlords, investors. Some of the questions we're getting through are, I've got a property, I want to let it, what makes a good tenant? You know, I'm new to commercial property, I've just bought something at an auction or something like that, I've got a vacant property, I need to find a tenant. You know, what am I looking for? Well, it depends what's important to you for a start. You know, is it cash flow, is it capital value, that kind of thing. That makes a bit of a difference in terms of who you're looking for. But ultimately, you're talking about covenant strength. So what does that mean? It means, is the tenant reputable? Are they going to look after the building? Can they pay their rent on time? And what kind of security and backup is there if they're to fail, or how likely are they to keep paying the rent if the profit or lack of profit in that particular property isn't happening? What do I mean by that? So, you know, advantages, you've got a single kind of retailer that might take a property. Now, you know, they're deemed as kind of high risk because maybe they haven't traded a business before. They may not have experience in that particular sector, but they're super enthusiastic. They've got a really cool concept, and they're happy to put a personal guarantee down. They've got some assets like a house or something like that, and they want to got some cash together to put it down a rent deposit. Now, for a landlord, in terms of cash flow, that could be pretty good because you've got a nice, exciting concept. If you're confident that you know the tenant knows what they're doing and they're really keen, they've done their numbers, they've put a business plan together, a landlord pack, that kind of thing, which I always encourage them to do if I'm acting on their behalf. And you know, you might take a bit of a view. And it depends on the location. If you're in a more of a tertiary or secondary trading location, whether it's shops, retail, industrial, whatever, you're going to have slightly less choice. So the typical kind of tenants that you're going to be attracting to that area won't necessarily be your major national chain retailers or service providers or distribution networks. So you've got to kind of be realistic in terms of who you're pitching it to. If you do come across with a national chain that comes across that wants to, you know, take the property, by all means have a look at that and give it some serious consideration. What are the pros and cons? Well, the single type business is going to usually pay a bit more rent and kind of be more amenable to your terms. If you're looking for a multiple kind of entity that has lots and lots and lots of different operations, lots of different properties, they've got a property department that specialises in sourcing properties for their operation to expand the business, then they've got their kind of model that they kind of adhere to. You know, they'll have a set number of criteria for how long their leases are going to be, how much flexibility they need in terms of break clauses, what's the maximum rent per area they're going to be prepared to pay, what kind of security they're going to be prepared to put down, how many sort of rent incentives they're going to want to take a space, like a rent-free period or that kind of thing, and they're going to have all sorts of criteria. So I think the overall deal in terms of rent being paid potentially might be less. Usually, sometimes they can pay over the odds to get into an area, but usually it's going to be a bit less because they're leveraging off their name and their brand and their covenant. And you know, typically a landlord will want that a bit more because that's deemed as being more secure. You can leverage off the back of that if you're refinancing, and you can re-gear and basically put out more money from the investment that way. So it's kind of horses for courses. There are pros and cons. So look at both offers on the table if and when you get them, and just consider all the options. I hope you find that useful. If you have any questions, fire them away, and we'll try and use that as a topic for any videos coming up. See you soon.